Hey everyone, and welcome to the Step Over podcast, Ottawa's grassroots soccer podcast. My name is Josh. We got a great show lined up for you. Now, since I like to call this a grassroots soccer podcast, obviously I love talking about Atletico Ottawa, love talking CPL, players from here are playing at the highest levels, love talking about all that. But there's a ton of great players and really exciting things happening, just like a little bit below that level. At some of the lower levels of the Canadian soccer pyramid. And for me, a few of the most exciting things to happen in the last few months has been the advent of League One Canada, which PLSQ, League One Ontario, and the new League One BC are going to fall under now, which is great that those Division 3 Canadian leagues are going to have kind of like a unified vision. There's going to be national championships involved. And there's a lot of attention as well to League One Ontario, which in a few years is going to be introducing promotion and relegation between 3 levels. Now that's hugely exciting, and to me, I think that changes the face of the Canadian soccer landscape just as much as the CPL did and has. And in fact, something that I think may have kind of flown under the radar a little bit. There's an article on justsoccer.ca about a month ago. PLSQ looks like they're also going to be pursuing promotion and relegation in the next few years. So that is really exciting stuff happening. And like when it comes to building soccer in Canada, this stuff is hugely important. I don't know if we'll ever see promotion and relegation at the top tier of the sport in Canada in my lifetime, but regionalized at the lower levels, I think is going to be hugely beneficial to promote building infrastructure. It's going to mean so many meaningful games for thousands of youth players, and it gives clubs that aren't professional yet a chance to build themselves up and prove themselves. Now, at that level of Canadian soccer, Ottawa's participant is Ottawa South United, as they have for the last few years. They'll be playing in the PLSQ in both the men's and women's divisions. And the head coach of the program is Peter Mapendere. Now, he actually used to be the coach of the club when they were playing in League One Ontario. And he rejoined the club in November 2021 and now leads both the men's and women's PLSQ sides. So I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get to it. Here's my chat with Peter Mapendere. So we're here with Peter Mapendere, head coach for Ottawa South United PLSQ program. Peter, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Josh. It's glad to be here.
Thank you very much. And so you're the head coach of the PLSQ program. So is that for both the men's and women's sides?
For both the men and the women's side, yeah. So I'm the technical lead for that, and the head coach for the whole program, overseeing the 4 teams that we have in that program, which includes 2 women's teams. Obviously, one of them plays in the PSQ, and the reserve side for that will be playing in our Ottawa South Soccer League in the Women's Premier. And then the 2 men as teams, one the first team and then the reserve team. So I'm the head coach I'm overseeing that whole program, those 4 programs.
The question that I ask everyone first when they come on my show is just very simply, how did you, Peter, get into soccer or football, whichever you prefer to call it?
Soccer has been, or football is what I like to call it, or soccer. But I got into soccer because I grew up I was born in Zimbabwe. And I grew up in the rural part of Zimbabwe, in fact, where we didn't have any electricity or running water. It was a small village, communal. My parents were farmers, and the only toys that we could get our hands on was a little soccer ball made out of plastic bags and newspapers. So I could remember as soon as I could be able to walk, I'd been with the ball on my feet. So that's how I got into soccer.
Fantastic. And did you have any favorite players when you were growing up, or a favorite team?
Oh yeah, definitely. And growing up, our favorite team was Liverpool. Basically because one of our heroes from Zimbabwe, Bruce Grobbelaar, was playing for Liverpool. And back then it was the most successful English club. In the early 80s and late 90s, and we grew up idolizing him for sure. So that was my favorite team.
Really? So,
yeah.
Bruce was in Ottawa for a few years. Did you ever get the chance to meet him while he was here?
Yes, in fact, Bruce is one of my mentors. He's been mentoring me for years, and it's a small world because when he moved here to Ottawa, he didn't know that I was here. He coached me back then when I was in Zimbabwe too as well. We had interactions when I was doing some tryouts for the under 20 national team. And fast forward, 15 years later, 20 years later, we met here in Ottawa when he was coaching. So, and at that time, I was at Ottawa South United, and that was 2014. I was going through my my UEFA levels, coaching badges, and he was one of the guys that put his shoulders around me, his arm around my shoulders, and he mentored me throughout that whole process of obtaining my UEFA badges. Grateful for him. He also managed to give me access to some of the stuff that they were doing at the Ottawa Fury, and I was able to go and do some of my internship there as well. So, which was great.
I mean, that's amazing. So you grew up idolizing Bruce Grobbelaar, and then later he becomes a mentor of yours. What was that like for you? What did that mean to you?
It was just it was unreal, right? Because there I was as a youngster growing up, and the first time we heard Bruce Grobbelaar, we didn't have a TV, as I said. The only thing that I had was a little radio where we were able to capture some of the soccer games. Even when he was coming to the national team to play, flying from England, coming to play for Zimbabwe, I would listen to him play for the national team over the radio. So the only thing that we had was just the commentator telling us about the game and us imagining what was happening in the stadium. And so we grew up idolizing somebody that I'd never met as a youngster. And then when I started playing soccer at a high level in Zimbabwe, we eventually met. But of course, he went back to England and never connected up until 2014 when he came here to coach the Fury.
That's fantastic. So you mentioned that you played at a high level. Where did you play, and what position did you play?
Oh, I played in Zimbabwe, obviously coming through the system where we had the schoolboy soccer and up to where I went to for trials with the Zimbabwean under 20 national team. Obviously, I didn't make it for those trials, but I played also for some of the junior teams in Zimbabwe that were playing in the Premier League, the Zimbabwe First Division back then, and so I was playing for the under 16s, under 14s, under 15s, all the way up to under 18 and under 19s when I moved to Canada. So when I moved here, I played here in the local scene at the Ottawa Carlton Soccer League, Ottawa Internationals in the Premier League here, and I also played at Algonquin. I had a stint for trials with the Montreal Impact. Back then they were in not really in the MLS. They were still playing in the lower leagues, obviously. But I had a stint there, and then I end up finishing my studies here. Moved away. Went to play in Thailand, in the first division there. So coached in Thailand, played in Thailand. So soccer has given me a lot of opportunities to see the world for sure. So then I came back here again at the end of my playing career and continued with coaching, and while also playing in the local league here, the Ottawa Carlton Soccer League, the men's premier team.
Okay, so yeah, you were a player and you transitioned to a coach. When did you decide that coaching was something that you wanted to pursue, and what drew you to that part of the sport?
What really drew me it's a funny story, because we had, as I said, during my days here with the Ottawa Internationals, I was coached by the name of Mike Adams, and he's still here in Ottawa, and I think he is one of the most underrated coaches that I've ever seen, because really he transformed, and not many people know him. He grew up in Liverpool, and he moved here. Obviously, I settled in Ottawa, and back then he was using methodologies that not a lot of coaches in Ottawa were using. Although we were really, I can say maybe an amateur team, but really he took it to some sort of professionalism. The way he was handling his training sessions, the way he was talking to players, the way he spent a lot of time planning his sessions and meticulously talking to each and every one of the sessions, like he didn't want to miss one of his sessions. And so I would say what we were known of, we're not a highly skilled team, but we were known in the Ottawa scene for work ethic and for working hard. So all the teams here that were successful, they knew that if they were playing against us, they'll be in for a tour time. So really, just the way that he was coaching the team really drew me to. I've never told him this. Even up to this day, we're still great friends. Probably when you listen to this podcast, you'll be surprised because I've had said, you know what, I'm going to sit down with him and have a chat with him. But so it's really drew me to coaching, and as well as in Zimbabwe. My story, unfortunately, like I had, my parents passed away when I was young, and soccer is something that just gave me a lot where I could go in there and just express myself and forget about the outside world. So when I look at soccer, I think about something that is bigger than me, and also that provided me with an opportunity to express myself, where I forget about all the problems. And really, so one of the main reasons why I coach is just wanted to give back to society, because I've taken so much out of the game. So I would like to give back to the game too as well, to the next generation.
That's really wonderful. Okay, so how long have you been associated with Ottawa South United?
Well, I've been associated with Ottawa South United since I joined them in 2014 when I moved from the Middle East. I'm moving back to Ottawa. I went to coach again in the Middle East in Kuwait. I spent some time there for 3 years, and then I came back to Ottawa, and I joined them in 2014 and up until 2019, just before COVID. I left. I was an assistant technical director at Gloucester for about 2 years. And then I went back to rejoin again Ottawa South United in November last year. So I've been with them for about now, I can say maybe on and off for about more than 6 years.
Okay. So is November of last year when you took over the PLSQ program, or
That's
is that before?
Right.
Okay.
That's right. When I took over the PLSQ program, but I've been coaching prior to that, I was coaching League One. So before the OSU moved their franchise into the PLSQ, so I coached a lot of young players back then in League One for 2 years as well.
Okay. So, in terms of credentials, like you have your UEFA A license, your England FA international coaching license. So you're obviously an extremely qualified coach. Can you tell me a bit about, you coached previously with the League One Ontario, but in terms of you returning as coach of the PLSQ program, like what qualities did you sell yourself on, or like what vision did you pitch to the club that really put you on the same page as them, and like enough that they said, you're the coach for this job?
Oh, I mean, I've known the club obviously and the club hierarchy for some time, and what really made this happen is that I see myself as when we're coaching, obviously we have all these levels, all these qualifications, obviously, which is great. My UEFA A, and I'm also just completing my Canadian A right now.
Okay.
And it's really more for me. My philosophy is that we don't coach players. We coach people, right? So you have to be able to know the players, and so that you can have a shared vision together, that you can work towards one objective and one goal. And I take a leaf out of a lot of people that have research that has been done in terms of transformational coaching. Really, I want the team to have an input in everything that I do. I don't pretend that I know everything. Obviously, I want to also learn from them as much as they want to learn from me. I also want to learn from them in terms of what drives them, what are some of the things that they would like to see. So that's some of the vision that I kind of painted to the club, and also I see it as a project, because when you're coaching at that level, it's not I have a long-term vision. It's not 1 year. Yeah, it's a long-term vision where you have to groom players, where you have to to make sure that players can adapt to the way that you're playing, and you have to go around and talk to players. Especially we have some alumni on the girls side that play in different universities. Some of them are playing in Division 1 schools. Some of them are playing here in Canada. So my plan, what I pitched the club, was that I'd like to go back and reach out to some of these alumni and really develop a relationship with them, and really be able to to tell them that you have a home to come and play, especially in the summer, and be able to mentor them throughout that journey. Also knowing that, yes, our primary objective is for us to do well in PLSQ, and also helping them as well to prepare for the upcoming season in the university league, wherever they may want to go. I have players that are heading to to Memphis for the first time. I have players heading to LA that are going to be playing in Division 1 school. So trying to also to prepare them and giving them the experience of playing at a semi-professional level. So that was my pitch to the club, that I said, I don't want to do this for 1 year. If it's going to be for 1 year, that's not for me, because I want to build a long-term project.
Fantastic. So a little bit about the league, for people who don't know. So the PLSQ, La Première Ligue de Soccer du Québec. That's my best French accent. It's very high level soccer. It's equal level to League One Ontario and the new League One BC in the Canadian soccer pyramid. So current Atletico Ottawa players Zachary Roy and Zakaria Baou have come out of the league. And last year, both Miles Cornwall and Jaden Mercure were assigned to contracts with Atletico out of OSU. So lots of high quality players. And now it's under the umbrella of League One Canada. So I wanted to ask you, just quickly about the new League One Canada, because you probably have a better behind the scenes look than, that we do. Just quickly get your thoughts on that development in Canadian soccer, and like if there have already been any tangible changes you've seen or any changes that you maybe foresee for the league.
Oh, I think this is an exciting time for the game in Canada, for soccer in general. Obviously, we've seen the growth of soccer in Canada over the last few years. The women's team winning the Olympic gold. Obviously, the men's program, achieving fantastic results. Qualifying for the World Cup for the first time in 33 years. And I think the Canadian soccer business, that runs the CPL, the League One. I think they have, put, a great foundation for the sport to thrive here in Canada. With the new developments of, amalgamating those three leagues, right? League One Ontario, the PLSQ, and then League One BC. I think this is a great step for any young players that wants to fulfill their potential. And I think it's only a matter of time again, before we see, producing, talent at the quality of Jonathan David and Alfonso Davis, because the platform is now there. And I think this will be, amalgamating these three leagues. It's a really, really great step. We have already seen there are talks already in the women's program for PSQ that, the winner of the PSQ and the winner of League One Ontario and the winner of BC, they're going to be playing in some sort of a national, playoff with the winner crowned, the national champion. Yeah. So that on its own is already a great step towards, amalgamating some of these leagues and seeing tangible result. And I've said this to a lot of players that I'm currently coaching PSQ, saying, I would like to be young again. I'd like to be at this level again. I'm actually jealous that, because when we were here in Ottawa, growing up, we didn't have that platform. The best, platform that we had to express ourselves, or the best, facility that we have was Moonies Bay, right? That was wow, that was it. Yeah. But now, there's this, the pathway is now there from college level all the way getting recruited into the CPL. When you look at our squad right now, the main reason why I've recruited a lot of young players, we're going to be especially the men's side, the youngest, team in the PSQ, is to try to give them that opportunity, because I know for sure I've coached League One. League One has produced, League One Ontario, a lot of talented players. We're talking about, Buchanan. He was playing there not long ago. So all these players came from League One. So I think if we can provide the same platform also for our young players here in Ottawa, I think it'll go a long way. We did that exactly. I did exactly that in 2017, 2018. I had a squad of young players, average age 18 years. We're talking about Tony McCall. He has gone on and play at CPL level. I gave him his debut for League One in 2017. think it was exactly 4 years ago this weekend when we gave him that debut. We're talking about players like Dario Conte that have done well at university level at Carlton, Ricky Comba, or Miles Cornwell, all those players that have gone, some of them to play at the professional levels. We gave them their debut in League One as youngsters. So I'm using the same philosophy, with this development of these three leagues coming under one umbrella. I think it has to be something that we have to be proud of as Canadians, and also to be proud of as custodians of the game, because the game is heading towards the right direction.
That actually leads really well into one of my questions, which was going to be about the roster, because the PLSQ is a league that sees lots of players at different stages in their careers. Like there are lots of young players, but there's also kind of like players who are in the middle of their careers looking to continue it and maybe get more eyes to kind of rise up to higher levels. And also, some older players like, I saw that former Montreal Impact player and got a few caps with the Canadian national team. Wonder Lefebvre was playing last season for FC Laval. So yeah, do you see the OSU roster as I guess both rosters, really, the men's and women's, as being much more on the younger side, or are there any players who are maybe in their mid to late 20s, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, when I look at the roster right now on the men's side, it's a very young roster. I think we have an average age of roughly around 19 years old,
Okay.
which is very young compared to other PLSQ teams. We have a mixture of a lot of our players that were playing at OPDL level, 2004 players that are now going to be giving their first experience in PSQ this weekend. We have attracted also a lot of talent across the river from Quebec. Their successful program, Gatineau FC, their 2004 boys, they were the provincial champions last year. So we've managed to attract about 4 or 5 players, top players from there, the young players. So it's going to be very, very competitive with a lot of young players. We have players that we're playing. In fact, that are playing for the Quebec provincial team, the 2004, so U18 provincial players. The same thing as for Ottawa too as well. Some of our players, Alex Thomas, who has been playing for the Ontario provincial team this past weekend. In fact, they went, against each other with Adam Gorani, who is playing for me as well, but he's from Quebec. So they were playing against each other, which was really a cool experience for both of them. This weekend there'll be teammates. So we have a lot of talented players there. We also have older players that are coming through as well. We have signed Abdullah Juma, who is a really great midfielder, a little bit on the older side. He had some stint in Levante, in Spain, at the U18 level. He played at USL level too as well. He have played at some of the MLS academies here at the youth level. So we have attracted some of the good talent that we have here in the region, and mix them with some of the older players too as well. So we have players that are 25, that are 23, and we have also some of our alumni coming back from that have come back from university. So really, the roster is a mixture of a lot of young players with about maybe 3 or 4 players that are older, that are going to be putting through the spine of the team to make sure that they can guide these youngsters throughout the season. On the women's side, I would say I think we are as good as anybody. Obviously, there's always a challenge of, as you know, most of them are played at university level. You get these players pretty late coming back from university. We started to get them last week, this week. So you don't have a lot of time in terms of preparation for preseason. But we have, a talent of youngsters again from 2004 level. We have one of our players, Zoe May. She plays for, Team Ontario. She's going to be going to Memphis Division 1 school. We have Claire Ray, the youngest player to ever play in League One. They actually changed the rules for her, at 15 years old. So
really?
So she's been playing at League One level in Ontario when she was 15. She's a 2004. And she's been playing. She played at League One level. She played at PSQ level, and she hasn't even turned 18. So we have started playing at League One level when she was 15, and now she's not even 18, and she's going to be leading that squad as well. We have Maya Smith, center back at Ottawa U, one of the most successful programs in Canada, or even in the world. They were the world champions in 2018, right?
Yeah.
We have also Evelyn Arsenal coming back from Div 1 school in the States. She was invited to the under 20 Canadian national team camp. So we have I'm excited about that program because I think we've recruited a lot of our alumni coming back, and it's a matter of us now working hard with them to ensure that we can achieve the objectives that we have set for them. We have good about 3 goalkeepers that are playing at university level here at Carleton. Some of them playing at Bishop, some of them playing in Alberta. So we have attracted talent across the country in terms of from the university level. So I think we'll be competitive. And again, it's a mixture. It's going to be a mixture of some of our 2004 players that have graduated from OPDL level. We want to make sure that the platform is provided for them, and there is a pathway for them where when they reach 17 years old, one of the things, the reason why I want to coach, why I coach at this level, at the semi-professional level, it's unfortunate that here our mindset is that as soon as somebody reaches the age of 17, they might be gone through the OPDL level, or as soon as they turn 17, we say they don't have anywhere to play. For me, I always think that's the golden age. That's the crucial time, because they're just really starting to take what's really senior, that transition between youth football into that senior. It's a very crucial component for me. So that's why I said I want to take over this job, because I know that you can really make a really positive impact. This is the time when these kids, imagine some of them have been playing throughout the programs since they are 8 years old, and then all of a sudden now at 17, they don't have anything else to do. They don't have an outlet. So really, can we keep them in the game? Because I believe really the game itself, it's a lifelong commitment. The game never leaves you. The game always stays with you. I believe the game always stays with you. So if you can encourage these kids to be the best they can be at whatever level. I'm not saying every player is going to go and play at a semi-professional level, at PSQ level, at League One level, but there's so many leagues that they can fit in. So if us as custodians of the game, if we can uphold those values and guide them as they transit into senior football. So that's why I want to try to give these youth players a taste of what it's like to play at that senior level as well. So because the league is going to be competitive. We know CF Montreal under 23 is now joined PLSQ. So really for them to be able to go in there and compete against an MLS team, right? Which is really, really a neat experience for them. In fact, we are playing a CF Montreal next week here in Ottawa. So it's going to be really, really exciting for the young players to be able to go in there and express themselves, and also to be seen. That's the whole point. If you do well, the pathway is there for you. And for me, I look at it, if I'm here, 2 years from now, a year from now, 3 years from now, and I still have the same roster that I had today, I don't think I've done my job well. My job is to make sure that some of these players, not everybody, we can pass them along. Maybe, hopefully, some of them can go into this play in the CPL. Hopefully, maybe some of them they show well, they can be picked up by some of these MLS academies. And that's how I want to be measured. Yes, I'd like to win a trophy. Yes, I'd like to finish first. But if I can be measured by, helping these players to move on to that next level as a club, I think it will be fantastic for us. And we've done that as a club. On our youth level, we lose players a lot to the national team, the national programs, to the provincial programs every year. And that's the philosophy of the club, and I would like to support that.
Fantastic. You mentioned a few players that you highlighted on both teams. I wanted to know, for the 2022 season, who are some players like on both rosters that you expect to lean on this year in terms of leadership?
I think for me, in terms of from the girls' side, the women's team, I think we have, as I said, the players such as Maya Smith, experience at at that level and experience at university level. Leader at the back, expecting players like Evelyn Arsenal coming back from a Div 1 school, having tasted that experience to be a coach into camp for the under 20. So I'm looking for her to lead the group. I'm looking at Claire Ray. I know she's young, but I'm looking at her but she has lots of experience to lead some of those players as well. So those are the I can say the key players that I'm looking at for the leadership. On the men's side, as fun as it might sound, I have a lot of young players, but that are very mature. We have 2004 player Liam Bender, who is one of the best midfielders in Ontario. 2004. So I'm looking for him to lead that midfield unit. I'm looking at the signing of Dalla Juma. He brings a presence to the sessions, and I think I'm looking for his leadership and his experience also to carry over to this group as well, and for him to provide us that guidance that we need on the pitch. For sure you'll be the guy to go to. So those are the players that I'm looking at, and Alex Toma at the back is a 2004, and again his experience in terms of the level of football he has played, the level of soccer that he's played at a provincial level. So looking to lean on him and lead some of these youngsters and lead them to the next level. So those are the players that I'm really looking forward to see expressing themselves at this stage for sure going forward.
Awesome. All right, Peter, that's been fantastic. I just have one more question for you. So if anyone wants to come out and see an OSU game, is that possible? Is that something that they can come out and do?
Of course, they can come out and do. The schedule for the PLSQ is on the PLSQ website, so anybody can Google PLSQ, and you can see our Ottawa South United, both the women's and the men's teams are there. They can come and see. In fact, this weekend, the women's team are at Queen's Point in Barhaven, which is a great location. Next to the Minto Center. There's both for the elderly and the youngsters too as well. if parents have kids, there's a park there where the kids can play and also enjoy the game. It's a kickoff. It's at 5:00 for that game, and we are back again next weekend. We're going to be hosting CF Montreal. So it doesn't get any closer. And these games are huge. These games are free. So I'm rallying the community to come and support the local players and watch some of the best youth semi-pro football that we have in town for sure. And you spoke about Jaden McHugh playing at Atletico. He's back with us again. He's going to be in the roster. So
fantastic.
Come and see some of these players in person. Come and ask questions. We like to hear from our community, and we're here to support the community as well.
That was our chat with Peter Mapendere. We want to thank him for joining. Both the men's and women's sides begin their 2022 PLSQ campaigns on May 7th. The men will be away at CS Saint Laurent for an evening match. That's a microphone.
What is it for?
It's for recording a podcast. I have my daughter here. The first home game will be on the 14th at Quinns Point Field in Barhaven against CF Montreal U23 squad, which is new to the PLSQ men's division this season. The OSU women have a 2-game homestand to start their season. May 7th, they take on CS Saint-Hubert, and May 14th, they take on CS Montreal Outremont. Both those games will also be at Quinns Point, although later on in the season, both the men's and women's sides will be splitting their home games between Quinns Point and Ridgecraft Rec Complex in Canada. That's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you can spare a moment, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if that's an option. I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, we'll see you.